The Peterloo massacre happened when there was a very large protest that took place in Manchester at a time when very few people had the right to vote. Manchester had no representation in Parliament. Today we have 27 MPs, in those days we had none at all. And what took place was quite a spontaneous but very civilised and orderly but huge protest of people demanding the right to vote and for more democracy. And unfortunately, people didn't want these protests to happen. The authorities, so to speak, came along and charged the protests on horses with swords and killed many people and injured dozens and dozens more. And some of the people killed were women, and there was even a child killed. So it became a very notorious and infamous moment, but actually, although it was horrific at the time, it then did lead to a change in public opinion and more people getting the right to vote. I'm very proud of Manchester's political history, really, and Peterloo is an important part of that. So too is the Chartist movement, the trade union movement that began in Manchester, the suffragette movement that began in Manchester, the Independent Labour Party had its first meeting in Manchester as well, the cooperative movement. You know, we've got a very proud history in Manchester. And me being, born and bred Mancunian and now a Labour MP in Manchester, I stand on the shoulders of all those from Peterloo and elsewhere who created the kind of democracy that meant someone like me could end up being the MP for Manchester, and the first woman Labour MP as well, and the only woman Labour MP. So, it's very important to me personally, that deep history that we have in Manchester, of which Peterloo is a significant part. It's important that we learn from it, we understand the history behind it, we understand the context, we understand what changes it led to. There's a campaign in Manchester to get a proper memorial for the Peterloo massacre in Manchester, which I fully support. I think that's kind of long overdue, really. And more recently, it's become more talked about and better known, but certainly when I was at school in Manchester, it wasn't something that I learnt about. It wasn't something that I was aware of growing up in Manchester myself, but more recently it has come to the fore, and I think that's a really good thing, because it shows what happens when authorities make the very wrong decisions to attack peaceful protests and don't listen to that groundswell of public opinion. And we have to be very mindful of that in the current context as much as we do understanding the history of it.